everything new. Bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something gone that'll never return. I think I finally learned to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving, I'm through dreaming that the life I had is never coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that'll never be mine. I think it's time to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I've survived many times before, broken hearts and slamming doors. I'll be alright, yes I will once more. Just as I did back then, I'm gonna rise again to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new.
Good morning, everybody. If you look in your program, I'm Jackie Peterson, and I'm happy to be here, and I'd like to say, bring it on. No, actually, I'm David Burke, and I'm your trustee on duty. It's my pleasure and honor to be here. On behalf of Reverend Donna and the Board of Trustees, I am privileged to welcome you here to the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are truly welcome here. You will be validated, supported, and encouraged to be all that you are meant to be. Our vision statement is love in action, every day, every way. We express this love by learning and living the principles of the science of mind. You will find our declaration of the principles at the back of your program. Please join me now in reading them. I believe there is an infinite intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe this intelligent power is only good. I believe this intelligence expresses as me. I believe through my conscious use of this power, I create my life as happy, healthy, and complete. And so it is. Do we have any first-timers today? Okay. Everyone, please stay after for refreshments. getting to talk to friends and chosen family. I would like to thank all the people that make this Sunday celebration possible. And first of all, that's all of you sitting in the chairs. Without you, we wouldn't have a center. And so thank you very much. And all the people who help every Sunday and in many, many ways around here. Please direct your attention to our announcements in the bulletin, and if you're watching online, please visit cslaz.org for our announcements and our events calendar.
The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. Namaste.
Good morning. My name is Louise, and I am your practitioner today. The practitioners, we are the praying arm of the church, so if you have something that you would like prayer for, someone you want us to keep in mind and do affirmations for this week, please fill out a prayer card. We have a box over there, and just drop it in the box, and we will pray for you this week. So just get comfortable. Close your eyes if you'd like, center, and just know that there is one power, one presence, one infinite intelligence in the universe. And just know that it is God, and God is all there is. And just as I am one with this one, so are each of you one, and so are all others and all things. This one God is joy, peace, love, harmony, creativity, wisdom, vitality, and whatever you name as well. This one is the voice in the silence speaking its truth, that love is all there is. And I now affirm that we are each love. I affirm that this service today is love, and all here are one with this love. And I know that Donna's words that bless and inspire us are one with this divine wisdom and love. We anchor this by saying, and so it is. So I light the service candle, if I can remember where the little thing is. So my talk is on the internal song. And this is a article I found, or just a essay I found on the internet. So today my life harmonizes with the song of one. The internal dialogue of the ego can appear to drown out the internal universal song. Learn to listen closely and create a new harmony for your life. People often talk of old tapes running through their minds. Perhaps it's the voice of a parent or a teacher who is trying to guide you in your youth. This voice can continue to become unconscious ideas and beliefs that undermine your choices and your decisions later. They can limit your potential and your happiness. Many people use prayer as a way of asking, begging, or beseeching God to help and assist them in various ways. There is another way of praying. It is called affirmative prayer. This is praying without asking for anything, but rather describing that which we desire as if it was already in existence in our experience. By praying in an affirmative way, we enter into vibrational alignment with that which we desire, therefore allowing and making it welcome to materialize in and through us. Affirmative prayer is a spiritual practice, along with gratitude and visioning. The practice of affirmative prayer is the most powerful technique for calling forth that which we desire. The law of mind action is basically like attracts like. There is vibrational alignment. We manifest everything in our lives because of the vibrations that we each broadcast. There is nothing that cannot manifest for us. We must become a vibrational match to that which we desire, or it will not manifest. It cannot manifest. This is why we have to turn our attention away from the perception of lack, of not having. Focus instead on the feeling of already having, even though we can't see it yet. In other words, we need to make it welcome to enter into this dimension, our reality. Gratitude is the key, and your ability to feel as if it is also the key. Prayer is a science of being, not doing. Prayer is a consciousness of the allness of life. Allness is perhaps a better term than God because it is less misunderstood. We live and move in the allness of life. Through ongoing practice, we begin to hear more clearly the internal song that continuously plays with and for us. Namaste.
Who should I give all the love that I have? How do I know when the feeling's right? Where do I find the will to keep going? Which road do I take on this stormy night? Decisions, they're facing me. In my way, they're chasing me. But my answer's always near. 'Cause in my heart there's a secret voice comes through for me, my secret voice. When it seems no have, no other choice, I listen to my secret voice. It is my strength, when I'm so full of fear, my shining light, when I've lost my way, a gentle reproach to believe in myself, a silent alarm, time to walk away. Decisions still facing me, standing in my way, still chasing me, but my answer's always clear. 'Cause in my heart there's a secret voice that comes through for me, this secret voice, when it seems I have no other choice. I listen to my secret voice from deep inside. Words softly speak to me, not in a dream with hidden clues. The message is clear as clear can be. Cause in my heart there's a secret voice, comes through for me, this secret voice, when it seems I have no other choice. I listen to my secret voice. Thank you. Namaste. That one is actually from a local musician. I'm not sure if he's around. I'm not sure if he's around anymore, but his name is Lewis Moore, and he was a general contractor I met many years ago who also was a very talented songwriter.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Good morning. Well, before we get into our subject, which I'm so grateful to Louise because she really gave you an incredible introduction into Science of Mind affirmative prayer or Science of Mind treatment, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So we're actually going to have a class on how to give a spiritual mind treatment. So we've been introduced to it, but before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as we celebrate his birthday tomorrow. You know, so much of what we talk about here at the center is the balancing that we must do. You know, that our material world must be balanced by our internal world, so that the actions we take in our world of affairs are rooted in the spiritual aspects of love, peace, harmony, joy. And there are consequences when we ignore that balance. I was looking through Dr. King's book, Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos or Community? And I found something that that speaks to this in his way, and yet it's right in line with what we teach. So here goes. Dr. King says, every man lives in two realms, the internal and the external. The internal is that realm of spiritual ends expressed in art, literature, morals, and religion. The external is that complex of devices, techniques, mechanisms, and instrumentalities by means of which we live. Our problem today is that we have allowed the internal to become lost in the external. We have allowed the means by which we live to outdistance the ends for which we live. This does not mean that we must turn back the clock of scientific progress. No one can overlook the wonders that science has wrought for our lives. The automobile will not abdicate in favor of the horse and buggy, or the train in favor of the stagecoach, or the tractor in favor of the hand plow, or the scientific method in favor of ignorance and superstition. But our moral and spiritual lag must be redeemed. When scientific power outruns moral power, we end up with guided missiles and misguided men. Our hope for creative living in this world house that we have inherited lies in our ability to reestablish the moral ends of our lives in personal character and social justice. Without this spiritual and moral reawakening, we shall destroy ourselves in the misuse of our own instruments. Isn't that powerful? Wow. So our whole study, this whole entire month, is about this, the balance between the physical and the spiritual. Last week, we talked about learning to listen to that small voice, that voice that we call our intuition, before we take an action. And that way, what we say and do and our spiritual integrity are in alignment. And it's not just in our world affairs, but in our internal dialogue. When we step out of integrity with our deeper truth that keeps us from experiencing love, joy, compassion, peace. And that's what we're exploring today. That's what Louise had talked about. When we let that ego world dominate, then our actions do not get us the things that we really want. The world of psychology explores this inner world and draws up those deep-seated beliefs that keep us bound in our inability to love ourselves, to see the world as a friendly place, or to be open to the gifts that are all around us. And sometimes it's an arduous, painful, long process for any of us who've gone through that. Yeah. But science and mind, as Louise said, has another method that works too. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you. It's called spiritual mind treatment, or as Louise said, it's called affirmative prayer. And it's not like the prayers that we learned as kids to ask God to give us something. Rather, we are opening up to the truth of who we are, an individualized expression of God or Spirit. And we're not asking outside God to do something for us. A spiritual mind treatment is not for the purpose of making things happen. It is to provide within ourselves an avenue through which they may happen. And in that process, we may find those deep-seated beliefs that have kept us from experiencing the love, beauty, and joy that is our divine inheritance. Reverend Dr. Orrin Moen was a wonderful teacher of science and mind. I had the pleasure of being in his class and of knowing him pretty well. And in his book, The Mirror of Your Mind, he wrote, the paradox of our teaching is that we have to give what we seem not to have in order to receive what we desire. That's pretty profound too, you know. In other words, for example, if we lack love, we need to be more loving. If we lack money, we need to see ourselves and the world as abundant. If we lack approval, we need to give more approval. If we lack peace of mind, we need to still our mind and think and feel peaceful thoughts. There's a flow of inexhaustible energy in the universe, and giving and receiving are different aspects of that flow. In our willingness to give that which we seek, we keep the abundance of the universe circulating in our lives. That's why we have Prosperity Pig. We ask that you feed Prosperity Pig 10% of any unexpected income, because that keeps your unexpected income flowing. You know, if you, oh my God, I just got $100, I'm putting it in my pocket and walk out the door. That's fine, but it's gone. But if you put $10 in the pig, it's going to come back. You know, that's the way this stuff works. And it is when we refuse to give that we block the flow of our good. If we try to give a treatment to declare an outward physical change without changing our consciousness, then we will demonstrate what is in our consciousness. And that's what we mean when we say that spirit can only work for us by working through us. We might use the image of trying to plant a beautiful garden in soil that is filled with weeds. If we don't do the weeding first, the flowers will be choked and our garden will be less than beautiful. You know, when I was working at Founders, there was a woman who was living in her car in the parking lot. And she was furious because Science of Mind treatments don't work, because she was treating for $1 million and didn't get it. It's not that you don't get $1 million when you treat. It's that you need $1 million consciousness in order to get it. And that's the hardest thing for us to learn. And if we can kind of learn that no, it's not impossible to get that. But it's impossible to get it through a lack consciousness. So anyway, we kept working with her, and eventually I think she went away one day and never came back. But, well. So to keep this flow of good in our lives, Ernest Holmes gave us an outline to work with. And it's been honed through the years into what we call the 5 steps. And it's a simple technique that moves us from intellectualizing and talking about spirit into the practice so that we can begin to see definite results in our life. So your handout today describes those steps, and so you might want to follow along with me. The first one is recognition. And by the way, I feel like our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, was brilliant, because there are 2 major paths to spirituality. And one is the path of meditation. It's called the path of relaxation. That is an Eastern philosophy primarily. Then there is the path of action, which is the path of excitation, it's called. And that's the Western, where we ask God to do something, where we do it ourselves, where we take a lot of action. Ernest Holmes had the brilliance to put meditation, which are the first 2 steps, in with realization, the 3rd step, which is action. So we have both that meditative, powerful process of Eastern philosophy with the process of seeing and believing in something that is taking place. So I think he's brilliant that he came up with this combination. So where are we? Oh, step 1, recognition. So recognition is this is an affirmation of what God is, the attributes of spirit. You often hear our practitioners or me say there is one mind, there is one life, there is one intelligence, one divine wisdom that is whole, perfect, and complete. Its attributes are love, truth, beauty, harmony, joy, peace, abundance. If we are seeking to demonstrate something specific in our life, we might want to focus on those God-specific attributes. For example, if we are desiring a relationship, we might focus on God as love, as joy, as peace, as harmony. If we want more money, we focus on God as abundance, as the one true source of everything. In step 2, which these are in combination, one of the other, God is, I am. So the second one is unification. So we unify ourselves with divine power and presence. If there is only one mind, only one life, and that is infinite, then we are part of what that one mind and one life is, because we are made from it and of it. So everything that we say about God, the aspects of God, are true about us. That is our inherent nature. So we might say in this unification step, because I'm an expression of God, I am one with the only source of all supply. I am one with the love of God, or I am one with the wholeness of God. But I am that which God is. I can't be anything else. I may choose to express it differently and experience some pain along the way, but the truth of my being is that everything that God is, I am. So those first two steps in treatment work to clear our consciousness and give us the faith to move forward. As we recognize the allness, the perfection of God, and as we declare that we are all that God is, then we are dissolving those negative weeds that have inhabited our consciousness so that our garden is free to thrive and to grow. And this third step, realization, that's the action step. I had a practitioner friend who said, this is where we see through real eyes, realization. So we declare that our desire is fulfilled. We see it as having been completed. I now experience loving relationships as I share love with everyone I meet. Or I see the abundance of God everywhere and accept this abundance as mine now. When I was in ministerial school learning about spiritual mind treatment, Dr. Mullen gave us a statement that I use a lot, both in my treatment work and just as an affirmation. And if you have something to write with, this was something to write down and put on the mirror. Anything I need to know or do is now revealed to me lovingly, gently, kindly, and in a manner that is crystal clear to me. Isn't that great? Anything I need to know or do is now revealed to me lovingly, gently, kindly, and in a manner that is crystal clear to me. And when we get to a point where we truly believe this and have faith that it's happening, then we won't need a psychologist. Whatever may have blocked the flow of good in our lives is gently revealed to us. So it's not painful. It's something that may pop up and say, oh, I need to examine that. Is that really true? And it's gentle. It's gentle. And then we can take a look at it, and if it's something that needs to be changed, then we can work to change those thoughts. And another thing to remember is that feeling is an important component of the realization step. If we're treating for a new home, for example, we might think of the feelings that having a new home entails. You know, comfort, security, a sense of belonging, a sense of neighbor. You know, all of those things are part of the reason that we want a new home. And as we said last week, God does not speak in the language of tongue. God speaks through feeling. So none of us have to worry about how we word our treatment or prayer, as long as we feel it. Because when we feel it, that's when the universe says yes. And step 4 is thanksgiving. And I've said in the handout, give thanks as if the intention we have set has already been accomplished. And I think I used Aunt Tilly. If Aunt Tilly calls and says she's sending theater tickets, you say thank you. You don't say, well, I'll call you back when I get them. You say thank you because you trust Aunt Tilly to do, unless she's off her rocker, you trust Aunt Tilly to do what she says she's going to do. And we don't need to trust Spirit any more with any more certainty than we trust Aunt Tilly. And the other thing is, our thanksgiving should be about the specific thing for which we're treating. A lot of practitioners start in this Thanksgiving step, start treating for, or start thanking for the sky and the sea and the ocean and all the wonderful things. No, Aunt Tilly gave us theater tickets. That's what we're thanking her for. If we're giving a treatment for a new home, then we give thanks for that home. If we're treating for health, then we give thanks for wholeness and health in our lives. Give thanks for the specific thing. It's absolutely okay to give thanks for everything, but that's a different process. That's an affirmation. But in the treatment process, That's when we give thanks for what it is specifically, the thing for which we're treating. And the final one is release. In release, we affirm our place of total acceptance. We've placed our intention into the mind of God, and it's now up to the law of mind to bring our desire to demonstration. So we say something to the effect, I release these words into divine mind to do its perfect work. And then we finalize it with, and so it is, or amen. So at this point, our work is done. Our work is done. And it's up to the law to do its perfect work. So that's the point where we have to let go of fear or worry that our treatment isn't working. When my son was a little kid, you've seen him now, he's like, when my son was young and we did a treatment together, we would write out that desire as if it had already happened. And then we would put it in a coffee can, and we called it the God can. So when one of us would start to worry about something, the other would say, God can, and point to the God can, reminding ourselves that it's not up to us to do anything else. The rest of this is God's work, not mine, not mine. As children bring their broken toys for tears with us to mend, I brought my broken dreams to God because he was my friend. But then, instead of leaving him in peace to work alone, I hung around and tried to help with ways that were my own. At last, I snatched them back and cried, "How can you be so slow?" "My child," he said, "what could I do? You never did let go." So we see how spiritual mind treatment is not for the purpose of making things happen, but rather to provide within ourselves an avenue through which they can happen. And it's based on a faith that is logical and scientific. It is an attitude of mind which is so convinced of its own idea, which so completely accepts it, that any contradiction is unthinkable and impossible. On the handout that's in your bulletin, on the back of the 5 steps of treatment, there is a treatment for you to fill out. You don't have to do it today. Take it home and think about it and pray about it. But it gives you a chance to see how it's done. And like I say, words don't mean anything. If you kind of just follow the general idea, the general 5 steps, the words, as long as you feel what you are writing, then you're in good shape. So when you're finished filling that out, then you have a spiritual mind treatment that you can use on a daily basis. Ernest Holmes says, in spiritual mind treatment, we declare our word, decree that it is the law whereunto it is directed, accept that it is now accomplished, and just as surely as day follows night, we will see results. And it shall gradually dawn upon us through experience that grows out of practice that there is an invisible, silent power that responds to us. We will discover that it is the most real thing we can ever contact. In the last analysis, we will know that we have touched deep within us the source of all life, God, which is the only healing power there is. Thank you. Namaste. I got this.
Okay, please stand and let's do the green song on the green sheet inside your program. I am the thinker. We know this one, you guys. I am the thinker who thinks the thought, that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. And if you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. And if you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. And I choose to be the light and brighten someone's darkest night. I'm so much more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have a very special treat next week. As some of you know, our practitioners are going to be going on a retreat for Friday and Saturday. And our facilitator is Reverend Joan Stedman. Joan is not only Louise Riley's sister, but she has been in science. She was on the original visioning team when Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith was thinking about having a church. So she has been, and I believe, I won't go into that, but she is she headed the ministry of prayer there. She has been with the, there's a whole picture and bio of her on the table. And please take a moment to read it and mark on your calendar to come next week. Bring a friend, because we are very excited to have her not only as our facilitator for our practitioner retreat, but to have her here with you as our special guest speaker. So, just a, yeah. Okay, it is now time for our offering. A chance to put that divine circulation that we're talking about in process. So won't you join me in our offering affirmation? My gift goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless all that it touches. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I share generously of my good, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
I want to tell you that last week, our bookkeeper Sharon and I went to the presentation at CPAC about Shelter Box and the work that's being done in Ukraine. There's an article that is on the table about it, but Dan Shearer, who's the editor of the Green Valley News, his brother, Pat, has spent 2 stints in Ukraine. He just went there because, first of all, he wanted to fight. But when he got there, he was stopped by a little family that needed help, so he helps them. And then he was stopped by another family who needed help, so he helped them. And he finally figured out, my job isn't to fight, it's to help the people. And so he has been working with the Rotarians, I think it's the Valley Verde and I've forgotten the other, there's 2 Rotarian organizations, and what's known as Shelter Box. And they did a fundraiser. It was a fundraiser. It was absolutely jam-packed. There was standing room only at CPAC. And the beauty is that every single penny that went to that fund that we went to goes to Ukraine, directly to Ukraine, 100% to Ukraine. And so we've been looking for something that would do that, and we found it. And we presented them with a check for $3,000. So that's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's what we do. So thank you all, because that was your money too. So that was your money. So let's just take a moment to close this out in prayer, and please join us for refreshments, a chance to say hi to each other, and if you're kind of new, a chance to introduce you, that we can introduce ourselves to you. So I know that there is one mind, one life, one divine intelligence, one pure consciousness. And I know that this divine intelligence is only good. I know its attributes are love, peace, harmony, joy, wisdom, abundance. I know that you and I are made in that image, so we are the inheritors of all that we say about God. So I know that we can speak our word, and it has power because we are sending it through a consciousness of love and compassion and deep joy. And I speak my word now for anyone experiencing any kind of a challenge, that the power and presence of God stands at the center of that situation. Speak my word for the people in Ukraine and for the people everywhere who are experiencing abuse in any way, shape, or form. And again, know that this is not the truth of our being. And when we step back and allow Spirit to guide our thoughts and actions, then these things will no longer be able to be tolerated. I give thanks for the opportunity to be among my spiritual family, to share my love, and to feel the love that comes back to me. And I know that we are indeed blessed beyond measure. So I release these words into that law of mind as it does its perfect work, as we say, and so it is. Thank you so much. Can we form a circle and sing Stand? Thank you.
So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. So let there be peace.